Against the backdrop of the India's External Affairs Minister's visit to Sri Lanka, details are now emerging on agreements signed between the two countries. Sri Lanka has found itself in a precarious position in terms of its sovereignty after signing 3 agreements with India, with another agreement due to be inked in future. These 4 agreements exert a potential threat to Sri Lanka's territory, sovereignty, government and the people, which are 4 vital components of a state. These agreements would see Sri Lanka receiving 3 Do-228 Dornier aircraft, a 4,000-ton floating dock, a maritime rescue coordination center and a digital personal identification system. The Sunday Times today reported that Sri Lankan defense analysts have warned that some of these proposals hastily rushed through the cabinet require deeper study in the national interest. Some of these agreements, including the one on the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, had been signed ahead of Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa's visit to India. However, the conditions put forward by India over these projects, including the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center and the floating dock, have raised many eyebrows. These agreements, signed in line with obtaining a $1 billion loan from India, have sparked concerns on whether they would affect the Sea of Sri Lanka and the country's sovereignty. The government had recently said India would provide 3 aircraft to Sri Lanka for maritime surveillance. But according to the agreement, Sri Lanka will have to purchase 1 aircraft on a credit line from India. 1 Dornier aircraft will be gifted by India to Sri Lanka. Documents pertaining to the deal show that India would loan 1 aircraft temporarily to Sri Lanka, as it would take 2 years to manufacture the aircraft. But Sri Lanka will have to purchase a 2nd Dornier aircraft through an Indian credit line. After providing the first aircraft on loan, a team comprising 5 Indian technical officers will arrive in Sri Lanka. They would train the Sri Lankan Air Force and Navy personnel on maintenance and handling. Documents reveal Sri Lanka has to provide the Indian officers with accommodation, medical, telephone, internet, transport and other facilities. Information gathered during maritime surveillance using the Dornier aircraft that would be given on loan would be a property of the Sri Lankan government. The agreement notes that no classified information shall be disclosed to any third party by the Indian government unless the Sri Lankan government authorizes it in writing. However, the DECA agreement signed on October 27, 2020 between US State Secretary Mike Pompeo and India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj allows classified information to be shared instantly. Isn't this an indication that India is being used to monitor Sri Lanka's waters? Although the cabinet paper for this agreement was submitted for approval on March 18th, Defence Secretary Kamal Gunaratne had signed some papers over the deal on March 15th. Sri Lanka has also agreed to accept a 4,000-ton floating dock worth $19.81 million as a gift from India. According to the agreement, the dock will be primarily stationed in Trincomalee and can be moved except to the Hambantota port by informing the Sri Lankan government. The Hambantota port is now in Chinese control. According to international agreements, Sri Lanka's search and rescue region extends beyond its exclusive economic zone in the Sea of Sri Lanka. Can this region be valued at a sum of $6 million? Isn't this similar to installing security cameras in Sri Lanka, while the footage can be monitored in India? Is the cabinet that is granting approval for these projects responsible for the country's future? Aren't the signatories to these agreements giving away the future of this country with a simple stroke of a pen?